Two brothers were born into the same family. They had the same parents, the same home, and the same early childhood. But their lives turned out very different. The older brother was always full of energy and dreams. He wanted to become successful. From a young age, the younger brother was quiet and kind. He did not have the same ambition or confidence. Their paths in life went in opposite directions. Even though they shared blood and memories, when they were children, their family was not rich. They lived in a small town, with simple houses and narrow streets. Their parents worked hard to give the boys a good life. The older brother often helped his parents with small jobs. He was smart and focused, always looking for ways to improve. Himself, he studied hard in school and dreamed of making something big out of his life. He wanted to leave the small town and do something important. The younger brother was different. He was not interested in big dreams or running after money. He liked calm and quiet. He enjoyed spending time in nature, walking through fields and forests. He loved to read books and think about simple things. Sometimes he felt lonely because he did not have many friends. The older brother was busy with his studies and plans, so they did not spend much time together. The younger brother often felt left behind. As years passed, the older brother worked very hard. After finishing school, he moved to a big city to find better opportunities. He got a job in a company and showed great skill. People noticed his talent. Slowly, he started to grow his own business. He took risks and made smart choices. His company grew bigger and bigger. He became one of the richest men in the world. His fortune reached $40 billion. People admired him. He lived in a large house, drove expensive cars, and traveled around the world. He had everything money could buy. The younger brother stayed in the countryside. He had no desire to move to the city. He took care of the small land their family owned. He planted vegetables and fruits. Sometimes he helped neighbors with small jobs. His life was simple and peaceful, but also hard. Money was always tight. Sometimes he struggled to buy food or medicine. He did not ask for help. He wanted to live quietly, without disturbing anyone. But deep inside, he felt sad and forgotten. The brothers' relationship became weak. The older brother was busy building his empire. He called rarely and did not visit often. The younger brother understood this, but still hoped for a close bond. He wanted to share his life with his brother, but the calls were short and distant. Sometimes, he felt invisible next to his brother's success. People in the town talked about the billionaire brother, but no one knew much about the younger one. He was just the poor brother living far away. The younger brother's health started to get worse. He was alone most of the time. The small village had few doctors and little support. He did not complain. He accepted his fate with quiet courage. He kept working in the fields until he could not. One day he fell ill and could not get up. The neighbors helped him, but the sickness was strong. Did not have money for good treatment. Slowly, his body became weak. Despite the older brother's great wealth, he remained distant. He did not visit or send help. His world was full of meetings, business deals, and public appearances. The younger brother was just a small part of a large family history, one that the older brother rarely thought about. Sometimes he felt guilty, but did not act on it. He believed the younger brother was living his own life and choices. In the countryside, the villagers cared for the younger brother. They brought food and comfort. They tried to make him feel loved. The younger brother smiled and thanked them. He remembered childhood stories and times when the two brothers played together. He hoped that someday the older brother would remember him too. But the days passed quietly. The younger brother's last days were peaceful, but sad. He looked at the sky and thought about his family. He hoped that the brother he loved so much would come, even for a moment. He wanted to tell him stories, laugh, and share memories. But it did not happen. The village held a small funeral. Only a few people came to say goodbye. The older brother did not come. He was buried in a simple grave in the countryside. The tombstone was small and plain. It carried only his name and dates. No one spoke much about him after that. The younger brother's life seemed to end quietly, unnoticed by the world. He had no money, no fame, and no big achievements. But in the hearts of those who knew him, he was remembered as a kind man who loved deeply and lived simply. Meanwhile, the older brother continued his life of luxury and power. He had everything, but something inside him was missing. Sometimes when he was alone in his big house, he thought about the brother he had lost. He wondered what his life had been like. He felt a pain he could not explain. Deep down, he knew that no amount of money could fill the emptiness left by the lost connection. This part of the story shows how two brothers, born in the same family, can live very different lives and becomes a billionaire, living in cities. In fame, the other lives quietly, struggling but loving. Their bond weakens, and the younger brother dies alone. The story is about life's unfairness and how success does not always bring happiness. It asks us to think about family, love, and what really matters in life. After the younger brother passed away, life around his small grave remained quiet. The countryside was peaceful but also lonely. The villagers who had cared for him still remembered his gentle smile and kind heart. They talked sometimes about how sad it was that such a good man died with so little. His grave was simple, with only a small stone to mark the place. It was in a quiet corner of the countryside, surrounded by tall grass and wild flowers. No fancy monument or special care, just the bare earth where he rested. The older brother lived far away in his busy city world. He was wrapped up in his wealth, his businesses, and his powerful life. The news of his younger brother's death reached him through a small note from a distant relative. The message was short, and no details came with it. The older brother felt a mix of emotions, sadness, guilt, and confusion. But he was not sure how to respond. He was so busy, and his life was full of important matters. Visiting the countryside felt far away, both in distance and in heart. Days turned into weeks, and then months. The younger brother's grave remained untouched. The villagers tried to keep it neat, pulling weeds and placing flowers when they could. Sometimes travelers passing through noticed the small grave and stopped for a moment. But the world kept moving, and the younger brother's resting place stayed quiet, almost forgotten by most. It was a lonely end for a man who had quietly lived among them. The older brother heard from friends and business partners about new projects and deals. His days were full of meetings, dinners, and travel. But at night, when the lights of the city dimmed, he thought about his family. He thought about his younger brother, the one he barely knew anymore. He remembered the times they played as boys, the laughter they shared, and the dreams they once spoke about. Those memories were soft but real. They touched a part of his heart he often kept closed. He wondered how the younger brother had really lived his last years. He asked quietly about his health, his happiness, and his struggles. The answers he got were not easy to hear. Younger brother had been alone for much of the time. There had been no visits from family, no calls from the wealthy brother. The older brother felt a deep shame, realized he had not done enough to help. Not out of unkindness, but because he did not fully understand the pain his brother was going through. The story of the younger brother's death became known in the city through a small news article. It spoke about a simple man who had died quietly in the countryside, far from the bright lights of the world. Some people were surprised that the brother of a famous billionaire had lived such a humble life. The article raised questions about family ties and how money sometimes creates distance, not closeness. Some in the older brother's circle began to talk about him differently. They wondered if wealth had cost him more than he thought. They asked why he had not reached out to his sibling when he was alive. The older brother listened but did not answer. Inside, he felt torn between his busy life and the quiet truth of his family's pain. He knew he had to do something, but he did not yet know what. Meanwhile, in the countryside, the villagers gathered occasionally to honor the younger brother's memory. They told stories about his kindness, his love for the land, and his gentle spirit. They wished that he could have had a better life and a better farewell. They hoped that someday, someone with the power and love to help would remember him properly. Their voices were soft but full of hope. One day, a local woman who had been close to the younger brother decided to act. She believed that every person deserves respect and remembrance, no matter how simple their life was. She reached out to the family and shared the stories she knew. She talked about the man she had cared for, the brother she had seen struggle, and smile despite everything. Her words moved some family members, but still, no clear decision was made about what to do with the grave. Time passed, and the story of the younger brother's life and death continued to touch hearts. Some strangers, reading about him in newspapers or hearing about him from the village, felt the pain of loneliness that many people face. They understood that money and fame do not protect us from feeling lost or forgotten. The younger brother's story became a quiet reminder of the importance of family and kindness. The older brother, in his large city home, began to feel the weight of his own success differently. The trophies, the money, and the titles no longer gave him the same joy. He saw the empty places in his life where love and connection should have been. The image of his younger brother's simple grave haunted him. He wanted to make things right, but was afraid of facing the past. One night, he sat alone, thinking deeply. He remembered the days when they were boys running through fields and playing games. He remembered the younger brother's laughter, soft and true. For the first time in many years, he cried. Those tears were not for money or power, but for a lost chance, for a brother he had not truly known. He wished he could turn back time. In the village, the younger brother's grave was still under the open sky. The wind carried the scent of flowers and earth. It was peaceful, but lonely. The woman who cared for him planted new flowers each spring. She hoped that one day the story of this quiet man would reach the hearts of many. She believed that even in death, he deserved to be remembered with honor. The older brother decided to visit the countryside. It was a difficult journey, both physically and emotionally. He wanted to see where his brother had lived and where he now rested. The thought of facing the small grave made his heart pound, but he knew it was a step he needed to take. When he arrived, he was surprised by the quiet beauty of the place. The fields were green, the sky wide and open. The villagers welcomed him with gentle smiles. They told him stories about his younger brother's kindness and simple joys. The older brother listened carefully, feeling a connection he had lost. For so long, he knelt by the grave and touched the small stone. He saw the dates of his brother's life and the name he had carried quietly. Tears filled his eyes. He whispered an apology for being absent, for not being there when it mattered most. He promised to remember and to honor the brother he had neglected. This visit changed the older brother deeply. He realized that family is not about money or fame, but about love, care, and presence. He decided to take steps to bring his brother's story into the light. He wanted the world to know the gentle man who would live simply but love deeply. The villagers and the woman who cared for the younger brother felt hope. They knew that this visit was the beginning of something new, a chance for respect, remembrance, and healing. The younger brother's life, once quiet and unnoticed, would now be honored in a way he deserved. This part of the story shows the deep feelings that come with loss, regret, and the power of memory. It teaches that no one should be forgotten, no matter how small their life seems. It also shows that sometimes it takes time and courage to face the truth and make things right. The bond of family can be healed, even after years of distance. Years passed quietly after the older brother's visit to the countryside. The small village kept the memory of the younger brother alive through stories and gentle care of his simple grave. But the older brother could not forget. His heart was full of regret and a deep desire to honor the sibling he had lost. He often thought about how to do something meaningful, something that could bring peace and respect to the brother's memory. One day, the older brother made a decision. He wanted to move the younger brother's tombstone to a better place. The small grave in the countryside was peaceful but hidden from the world. He thought it was time to bring the memory of his brother closer to the family and to those who could remember him properly. It was not about showing off or money, but about respect and love. He spoke with the villagers and the woman who had cared for his brother. They agreed it was a good idea. The community wanted the younger brother to be remembered with honor. Together, they planned to move the tombstone to a well-maintained cemetery near the family's estate. It would be a place where people could visit easily, a place with flowers and care. The news about moving the tombstone spread quietly at first, but soon people became curious. Friends, family members, and even strangers wanted to know why this simple man's grave was being moved. The story of the younger brother, the one who had lived quietly and died alone, began to touch many hearts. People saw the contrast between the older brother's great wealth and the humble life of the younger one. The older brother prepared for the move with care. He wanted it to be a moment of respect and healing. He arranged for a small ceremony at the new site. Villagers came, family members traveled from far away, and some people from the city joined as well. It was a gathering of many, all there to honor the life of a man who had been quiet but deeply loved. During the ceremony, the older brother spoke softly. He shared stories of his childhood with his brother, the times they played together, and the dreams they once had. He admitted his regrets for not being there when it mattered most. His words were honest and filled with emotion. People listened, moved by the courage it took to speak so openly. As the tombstone was moved and placed in its new place, something changed. The younger brother's story was no longer hidden. It was visible to all who passed by. Flowers were placed around the grave, and the ground was kept clean and cared for. It became a place of memory and respect, a symbol that no one should be forgotten. The older brother felt a deep relief. Moving the tombstone was not just about the physical place. It was about healing the past. It was about making peace with the distance and pain. He promised himself that he would keep his brother's memory alive in his heart and through his actions. After the ceremony, the older brother began to reach out more, contacted people who had known the younger brother. He listened to their memories and stories. He learned about the kindness and quiet strength his brother had shown, even in hard times. These stories helped him see the younger brother as more than just a forgotten figure. He was a man who had touched many lives in simple ways. The community around the younger brother's new resting place felt hope and comfort. They saw that even the most quiet and humble life could be honored and remembered. The story inspired many to think about their own families, their relationships, and the importance of kindness and care. The older brother's life also changed. He started to take time for family, to slow down from his busy world. He understood that wealth and power were not the most important things. Love, connection, and respect were what truly mattered. The memory of his younger brother became a guiding light, reminding him to be present and caring. The moved tombstone became a symbol of hope and healing. Visitors came from near and far to pay their respects. Some left flowers, others shared stories. The small grave in the countryside was quiet again, but the memory of the younger brother was now alive in many hearts. This part of the story shows how small actions can bring big change. Moving the tombstone was more than a physical act, it was a way to bring honor and healing. It teaches us that it is never too late to remember, to care, and to make peace. Family bonds can be restored even after years of distance. The story of the younger brother's tombstone being moved reminded everyone that every life matters. No one should be forgotten, no matter how simple or quiet their story. It is a powerful message about love, respect, and the importance of remembering those we care about. After the tombstone was moved to a new, respectful place near the family estate, the older brother felt a deep need to reconnect. It was not just about the stone or the grave. It was about the memories, the feelings, and the bond that he had lost over the years. The older brother decided to spend time reflecting on his life and the choices he had made. He found a quiet moment in his busy schedule and looked at old photographs. The pictures showed two boys playing in the fields, laughing. Under the sun, he saw the younger brother's bright eyes and gentle smile. These images reminded him of the innocence and love they once shared. He realized how much time had passed, how far apart their lives had grown. The older brother thought about the missed chances, the visits he did not make, the phone calls he never answered, and the moments he was too busy for family. He felt regret, but also a growing desire to make things right, even if it was late. He understood that love is not about money or success, but about being present and caring. He reached out to people who had known his younger brother, friends from the village, neighbors, and the woman who had cared for him, shared stories and memories. They spoke about the younger brother's kindness, his willingness to help others, and his peaceful nature. These stories touched the older brother deeply, saw a side of his sibling he had never fully understood before. The older brother began to think about how he could honor his younger brother's memory in a meaningful way. He did not want the story to be forgotten again. He wanted to create something that would show respect and bring comfort to others who might feel alone or overlooked. It became a mission to turn the quiet life of his brother into a lasting legacy. He started by making donations to local causes in the countryside. He helped build better medical facilities, schools, and community centers. He wanted to give back to the place that had cared for his brother and the people who had shown kindness. The villagers were surprised and grateful. They saw the change in the older brother's heart and actions. At the same time, the older brother began to reconnect with his own family, called relatives he had lost touch with, and made time for his own children and friends. He spoke openly about his regrets and the lessons he had learned. His story became a reminder to many about the importance of family and the power of forgiveness. The older brother also visited the new resting place of his younger brother often. He sat by the grave, sometimes speaking softly, other times just sitting in silence. These moments brought him peace. He felt closer to the brother he had missed so much. The small tombstone now held great meaning, a symbol of love, respect, and the journey to healing. In the village, the moved tombstone became a place where people gathered for quiet reflection. It was no longer just a grave, but a symbol of connection. Visitors left flowers, notes, and small gifts. The story of the two brothers inspired many to think about their own lives and relationships. It reminded them that no matter the differences or distance, family bonds are important. The older brother's life changed in many ways. He no longer measured success by money or power alone. He found joy in simple moments, listening, sharing, and caring. The memory of his younger brother guided him to be a better man, a better family member, and a better friend. He wanted to live with kindness and humility. This part of the story shows the power of reflection and change. It teaches that even after mistakes and distance, people can find their way back to love and connection. The older brother's journey reminds us that it is never too late to honor those we have lost and to make amends. The story also tells us that true legacy is not about wealth or fame, but about the love and respect we leave behind. The younger brother's simple life became a powerful message about kindness, peace, and remembrance. His story touched many hearts and showed that every life matters. In the end, the two brothers, though different in life, found a way to be united in memory and love. Their story is a quiet but strong reminder that family is about more than just blood. It is about care, presence, and the willingness to forgive and grow. The story of the two brothers came to a quiet but powerful end, showing that even after years of distance and silence, love and respect can find a way. After the older brother began honoring the memory of his younger sibling, things started to change, not just for himself, but for many others around him. The older brother, once focused only on money and success, now saw a different kind of value in life. He realized that true wealth was not counted in dollars, but in the love and memories we share with others. He made it his mission to help those who, like his younger brother, had been forgotten or left behind. Through charity, community work, and simple kindness, he tried to build a new legacy, one of care and connection. People who knew about the brother's story began to speak about it more. It was not just a tale of wealth and loss, but a lesson for all families. Many families face distance, silence, or broken relationships. This story gave them hope that healing was possible. It reminded them that no matter the past, it is never too late to reach out, to forgive, and to remember in the countryside. The small village where the younger brother lived and died became a place of respect and honor. Visitors came to the new resting place, leaving flowers and stories. The villagers took pride in knowing that their quiet friend had touched the heart of a billionaire and had a place of honor. They told his story to younger generations, reminding them of the importance of kindness and simple love. The older brother continued to visit the grave often. Each time, he felt a little more peace inside. The visits were not just about the past, but about the future, about carrying the lessons he learned and sharing them with others. He spoke to his children about family and the true meaning of success. He wanted them to know that money alone could never replace love and connection. Slowly, the older brother's heart healed from the guilt and regret that had weighed on him for so long. He understood that mistakes are part of being human, but that the courage to change and honor those we love is what truly matters. His younger brother's memory became a source of strength and inspiration. The story ended on a hopeful note, reminding us all that family bonds, even when stretched by time and distance, can be restored. It teaches that respect and remembrance are powerful gifts we can give, not just to those who have passed, but to the living as well. It encourages us to look beyond wealth and success and to cherish the simple moments with those we love. In the end, the two brothers, one poor, found unity in memory and love. Their lives, though very different, showed us that kindness, respect, and connection are the true treasures of life. Their story remains a gentle but strong reminder that no one should ever be forgotten and that love can heal even the deepest wounds.